Welcome to the Shepherd Podcast. I'm your host. I'm Pastor Chris. The podcast is an opportunity to share with you some people at Shepherd of the Hills, our church, school, and childcare that I think you might like to get to know. We have a lot of great people here, and I'm very excited to welcome my guest for today. He is setting a new record for my youngest guest so far to this point, Walker Langley. Walker, welcome.
Thank you so much, Pastor. It's an honor to be here.
And thank you for wearing the silver jacket, my personal favorite.
Yeah. I do tend to have a thing for interesting clothes, which I'm sure it's one of our questions we'll talk about.
Okay. And some people may recognize you from drumming. That's where we usually see you, is behind the drum set.
Yes, sir.
And so you want to tell us a little bit about what you do at Shepherd, what you're involved in musically?
Yes. Well, first of all, it's great to be back home. I should say, the church that I've known for many years. But anyways, so yeah. I'm just first. I was involved in this is in my middle school years. I was very, or actually before that. About the time I started going here, I was really amazed by seeing the chapel praise team on Wednesdays. Right. Even Pastor B, one of our pastors here, told me when I was about 4 years old, Walker, one of these years you're going to be in the chapel praise team. And surely enough, in sixth grade, I was on the praise team, and I couldn't have been more happy in my life. And as much as I miss that, I still love the fact that I can play on Saturdays and Saturday evenings on the contemporary and Sunday mornings of the new modern hymn, which I have to say I think is absolutely excellent.
Great.
And I really enjoy just playing that Roland TD9. It just brings back a lot of memories, to when I was on the praise team, and I know that I can continue to. Show is that just because that you transition from one band to another, that doesn't mean that it feels any different.
Okay, so you've been involved in a few musical groups here at Chapel, worship services on the weekends. Mm-hmm. I want to talk some more about drumming in a little while, and just as a teaser to our audience, Walker brought a show and tell today, so he's going to show you some of his really cool instruments. But before that, I want to talk a little more about Walker the person so people can get to know who you are. I mentioned you as my youngest guest so far. You're a high school senior.
Yes, sir.
Can't believe you're a high school senior. That's really something. So, and you told us your history here began a long time ago when you were how old?
About 3.5 years old.
Okay, about 3.5 years old. Mm-hmm. And you were at our school all the way through 8th grade, right?
That's right, I was.
Yeah, about to graduate from Brandeis. So you've come a long way.
Well, well, first off, I'm 18. I'm not really that surprised. I mean, they don't say time flies for nothing. But anyways, yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, what an incredible journey it's been for me. I mean, starting 3.5 and going from 8th grade. I mean, and then, transitioning to this massive high school. I mean. My goodness, I mean, it's just been a, I feel like both Shepherd and Brandeis have both, when you put them together, I feel like they've been a huge influence to me, and I'm sure many of other people who graduated from Shepherd and went to Brandeis, a few which I know.
Yeah.
That's not for that time. Anyways.
Can I back you up? Let's talk about Shepherd a little bit. Your time at Shepherd as a student here. What are some of the things you remember about being a student in our school, and how did Shepherd of the Hills help shape the person that you are today?
Well, for starters, I, as we mentioned earlier, I first started going here when I was about 3.5, which is around the same time when I started playing drums, which I know we'll get to drums later on. I was baptized when I was about 4 years old, and I still can't believe I remember this. I was baptized with my dad.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we were both baptized at the same time. I still find that so amazing.
Was that at the school baptism service? You and your dad baptized together?
Yeah, it was.
How cool.
We were both baptized by Pastor B, and I mean, my memory, even though my memory's still a little, I don't really remember all that much from my early years. Of course, it's how life is. I mean, I still remember Pastor B saying, "Walker, I baptize you in the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit," and him doing the same to my dad. And just looking back, I just think to myself, man, if only I could, just get a time machine, like I don't care what it is, and just go back to that day. Like I just be like, man, if only I could just relive that over and over again. Because I mean, that was a massive, massive turning point in my life.
Very good. Baptism's definitely a great turning point when the Holy Spirit comes into our heart in a special way and brings us into the family of God. And so from that point forward, God's really been at work in your life, shaping you into the person you are today. Can you tell us about, how did you grow over the years? How did you develop over the years being a student at Shepherd of the Hills? Can you think of any moments or experiences that really helped you along your journey?
I will say, I definitely feel that obviously, the whole musical element. No, I'm honestly trying to not to stay on the topic of music as much as I am about my personal life. But I just want to add that in there. I know I was also involved in quite a few plays. Probably my two personal favorites being the one that I did in I think it was kindergarten, first and second grade, or maybe first and second. I can't really remember. Somewhere in that area, and it was called Christmas Snapshots. And oh my God, it's funny. I still remember my line from that play, and it was. I'm quoting myself. It was, "You should have seen it. It was an awesome night. There was bright lights. There was great music, and best of all, there was good news." And again, I still can't believe I remember that line all these years later. I mean, I think I had like the shortest line in that play. But yeah, that was a really awesome play. And then in fifth grade, we did this play called Jailhouse Rock.
Love the name.
And no, it's not Elvis Presley Jailhouse
Rock. Okay.
But it was based off of the story of Paul and Silas. The fact that Paul casted demon out of a slave girl,
right?
And they're thrown in prison, and they're singing songs to God, and of course everyone knows the story. And then the prisoners were listening to them, and of course God heard it. He sent them almost sort of earthquake, if you will.
Yeah.
And the prisoner escaped, and the jailer was about to kill himself, but Paul said, "No, don't kill yourself." And he said, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" And he said, "Believe in God." And so the jailer was baptized. And of course, we also in that play we also talked about the story of Peter when he was thrown in prison, how the angel came to rescue him. But I was one of the backup singers, if you will. It was during a crosswalk, which I still miss, and I wanted to bring back. That's okay.
And for those who don't know, Crosswalk was a once-a-month service that we did for a few years, and we had a great time with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that in what you're sharing a Bible story. I mean, one of the things that was important for you as a student here was learning Bible stories and
yes, it was.
Growing in your faith. So I bet that there are a lot of Bible stories that are ingrained in your memory that you learned as part of your education here.
I was especially... one of my major strengths, especially in fifth grade, was memorizing Bible verses. I mean,
really?
I could say the entire Apostles' Creed without even looking at it, because I mean I've learned it so many times that I don't even have to look at it to read it. I mean, I know exactly exactly what to say.
Good. Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
It's probably most people's favorite Bible verse. John 1 verse 13, I think it was. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. I mean, that to me just says everything about, the fact that, that God, obviously loved us, and he loved the world that he made. And, if he hadn't sent his son to die for us and take away our sins, I mean, God only knows what would be happening right now.
I think you have a beautiful faith. I'm so thankful for the faith that God's worked in your heart.
Thank you.
And you are a light for Jesus out in the world. I'm wondering what that's like for you in a public school setting. So you went here to a Christian private school, and then you went to a public high school. Have you ever had people give you a hard time because of your faith, or do you find that people appreciate your faith, or what's that been like for you?
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, there has not been a single, there's not been a single case that someone's Brandeis has came out to me, criticized me because of my faith. Yeah, there's not been a single case that's happened. I'm grateful for that. And there's obviously a lot of speaking Christian faith. There's obviously quite a lot of clubs at Brandeis. One of them is called Brandeis Fellowship, and it's either in the fire science room, B173, room B173 to be more specific, which I've had consistently from my freshman year to my junior year until the pandemic started, or a portable 10, and basically it almost reminds me of, or rather, it's very similar to, to me, when I was in the youth groups here at Shepherd, which I still am. I mean, because we would just talk about Jesus, and we break up in small groups and eat pizza and drink soda, and it was really just an amazing experience. And
you do that with your high school group?
Yeah.
It's like a youth group at high school.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm glad you're involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So senior year, what are you going to do after this year? Are you thinking college or career, or what's the plan?
First off, I obviously plan on going to UTSA. I know both my parents graduated from there, and I plan on graduating from there as well. And if not, that's totally fine. Because if I don't get accepted, then I'll attempt to apply for Northwest Vista. As far as I know, they haven't released any sort of information on the fall semester, but that's okay. I know they've obviously been quite busy over the pandemic. Again, that's okay. But yeah, I really would like to go to UTSA. I mean, it's not far from my house. I've had a lot of experience there. I've been on I guess you could say a tour. I mean, it wasn't really that much of a tour, but I still got to, experience UTSA as a whole. I've also taken place in. I've also took part in the music camp there. I believe I started doing that in 2015, I think. And then I did it from I did 2015, 2016, 2017. And I definitely think that sort of helped me in the sort of musical department at UTSA. I also know I recently, last week, after my weekly Utsa rehearsal, I did my official UTSA music audition. I think I did good.
Yeah. So you have to audition to get into the music program there?
You do.
Yeah? You play something on the drum set for them?
On the website, on UTSA's website, it says that drum set proficiency isn't required. But yeah, you are supposed to write at least two pieces from either from snare drum, timpani, and two or four mallet keyboard etude.
Oh, okay.
I chose the snare and timpani because I'm not really let's just say keyboard percussion isn't really my thing.
So we're in this pandemic time. Did you like do a video of yourself and send it to them, or how'd that work?
Yeah. Basically, I stayed after Utsa.
What's Utsa?
Utsa is a youth orchestra of San Antonio. They're really big organization.
Okay.
I know one of my friends from Brandeis, who was our front ensemble section leader in 2018, Connor Castile. I know he did. I know he was part of Utsa, and obviously because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do, have the full orchestra. So we just switched to ensembles. Mm-hmm. I was obviously part of the percussion ensemble there. Mm-hmm. We had our rehearsals every Sunday after the modern hymn service.
Okay.
At the Radius building downtown.
Oh, okay. So you had a busy day Sundays. Yeah.
Well, sometimes not all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, I'm sure you did great. You're a very talented musician, and so we'll wait and see what they say. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting. Mm-hmm. You mentioned both your parents went to UTSA. Can you tell us a little bit about your parents?
Yeah. First off, I really hope they. I really hope that they get a chance to be on the podcast as well. But anyways, so my mom was just to sort of background. She was born in Houston, and my dad was born in Richardson. They both moved around quite a bit. My dad spent most of his life in Divine, which is where my family lives. I don't really know all that much about my mom, but I knew that she spent a good portion of her life in San Antonio. They both met at a car dealership. I forget exactly. I forget what was happening. You'll have to ask my dad that question.
I will ask. I got to find out the story. What happened at the car dealership?
Also, speaking of car dealerships, my dad he worked at about 8 or 9 different car dealerships, mostly in the San Antonio and Divine area. He's a really great expert when it comes to cars. And then my mom, her interest was more towards the money side of things. She's really been into marketing and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
She's had quite a few jobs in that field. As far as I can remember, her most recent job is that she works for. She sort of works for the government because she worked because her main office is located at Randolph Air Force Base, not far from Judson High School, where we have our rocket review marching contest, which is every other year. And my dad, he works for a gas and oil company called CML.
Okay.
He's been working for those guys for. Oh man, as long as I've been on this planet, he's been working for those guys for about probably 13, 14, 15 years.
Okay.
Maybe.
So he's been for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know your parents are two of the most influential people in your life. Yeah, who are other people that have made a difference in your life?
As far as school is concerned, and obviously you Pastor, one of those people who's had an influence on my life, as well as Pastor B and our great principal Sue Gary. Mm-hmm. I think she's done an amazing job with leading the school to where it is now. Especially my amazing lineup of teachers. I know some of which I still see at Saturday services or Sunday services to this day, and I know they've played a massive part in getting me to where I am now, as well as a lot of the teachers that I had at Brandeis as well.
Yeah. So you've had a lot of people that God's put in your life who've made a difference. Mm-hmm. Well, I can't wait any longer to ask you to show us the instruments because I can see them here behind the table. I wanted to definitely spend some time talking about your life and what God has been doing in your life, which is very exciting. And I know He's going to continue to do great things. I can't wait to see how your future shapes up. But we do need to talk a little more about drums. And you know I have a special place in my heart for drummers. My dad's a drummer, a career drummer.
Yeah, he is.
And so you guys have had some good conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I know he's enjoyed the times when you've been able to play together in different settings.
That's right.
But you got to show us what you brought today, because you do have your collection of percussion instruments, and perhaps it'll be educational for our viewers to see what some of these things are. So what'd you bring?
I brought, simple tambourine. I'm sure this is typical for many drummers or percussionists throughout the world. It's using all types of music genres, mainly rock and Latin music. Typical sound.
There you go.
Just your standardized tambourine. Obviously, this one doesn't have the head on it. There's some tambourines that do have it. So you can. It's almost like the mini cajon that I'm about to show you.
Oh.
But you can basically almost hit it like a drum.
Yeah. Right. Ways. Great. Thank you.
And then I brought this shaker, but it's actually called a cabasa.
Okay. You want to hold it up so people can see it pretty well?
Yeah. Now this obviously another standard percussion instrument. However, this is used more often in Latin music. If you listen to mariachi, or I'm sure a lot of drummers are familiar with this type of group. You hear that in a lot of Spanish music. Yeah. Really great sound. I absolutely love it. I especially like the design as well. It's just a really unique instrument. The cabasa is
very cool. Cabasa. Yeah. All right, learning some words.
Also brought a shaker here. Now, I can't really explain why the heck it's shaped like an egg. You don't. Because you don't really see a shaker like this. Normally it's more like a cylinder type shape. But I think this definitely feels more comfortable for me. This is just me. I'm sure there's a lot of drummers out there who say otherwise, and that's okay. That's them. But yeah, I feel more comfortable when I play this. I don't know why. I just do. I think two songs that I can think of at the top of my head. I'm sure a lot of people know that it's the Shakers prominently features Hotel California by the Eagles and Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith.
Okay, that's got the shaker, huh?
Yeah.
Can you do it like it would sound in those songs for us?
Well, in the intro, Hotel California, I'm sure you guys know about. And then towards the end of the song, after the final verse that Don Henley sings, that's when the shaker comes into play. And then in Sweet Emotion, the shaker's it's just there throughout the entire piece.
Now we're gonna have to listen to those songs and listen for the shaker, right?
Yeah. I think it's fantastic.
All right, thank you.
Sure, this is looks pretty familiar to sure of all you John Bonham fans out there. I'm sure if you've seen Led Zeppelin's live performances, I'm sure you know that John Bonham obviously used this, had this on his hi-hat. This isn't, obviously this isn't, I don't think it's made, I doubt it's made by the same company that made his, but you basically there's a hole right there. And basically what you do is unscrew this butt to the point where it doesn't fall out. And then you put it on the top of your hi-hat as low or as high as you want it to go. And I definitely feel like, it definitely adds something extra to the hi-hat. I think it sounds good both on the hi-hat and off the hi-hat. And if you listen to the sound, it has more of a upper register
Okay.
than a normal tambourine. It almost sounds like a tambourine, but with almost sort of a jingle bell sound, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
I really, I was really just inspired by watching John Bonham and seeing this on his hi-hat.
All right. Thank you. This is the one I've been staring at.
So
there it is.
Now, in case you're wondering, what the heck is this? Well, I'm gonna tell you what this is. It's basically, I call it a baby cajon, and I don't think I have. Actually, no, I think I have it with me. Check to see if I have it. I believe I put it in here. Aha, here it is. So basically, and this is a funny story. How my mom bought this for me. So there's during December of last year, we were watching this show called Sugar Rush, okay. And there's one episode where they had this this group of carolers, and they were in the basically they were in the baking area, and they were just singing all these Christmas carols, but adding their own sort of spin to it. Uh-huh. And I know, and we noticed one of them was carrying one of these, and my mom that just prompted the idea of, hey, maybe we should get one. Okay. So my mom did, and oh my goodness, these rather hard to get on. But yeah, so I'm not really gonna waste a bunch of time trying to get these on. But okay. Yeah. So basically, what you do is you take the strap and you put it on both sides, here and here, and basically just wear it around the chest. And if I play.
Now, can you turn so they can see the hole?
Yeah.
The opening there? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why exactly there's a hole, the opening in here, I have no idea why that's the case. It almost looks like a face, doesn't it?
Look like a face.
See that? Look at that.
That looked like a projector.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. That's actually what my first impression was when I saw this. I was like, "What the heck is that? Is this a projector or something?" Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really like this. I definitely feel like this is better than your average cajon. I mean, I'm not saying that cajon's bad or no. I mean, as much as I like the original cajon, I feel like this is like the shaker, a lot more comfortable for me to use, and I feel like you get a better sound out of it.
That's great. Thank you for showing us those things.
Absolutely.
Got a nice collection of instruments that make different sounds, and God's given you wonderful gifts in order to make great music. One thing I admire is being able to keep a good beat. You're really good about that. I think that's a God-given gift to be able to keep a beat, and such an important part of keeping everybody else in the band on track. So thanks for all that you do here in our music ministry at Shepherd. You're a great blessing to our ministry, and you're also just a wonderful example of the great things that God does in our school ministry. I mean, I think about Jailhouse Rock and Paul and Silas, and you told that story, like you knew it very, very well. And I know that that's something that's just in your mind and you've carried with you. Yeah. So thank you for taking your time to be with us on the Shepherd podcast today. It's always fun to hang out with you, and especially in this setting so that other people can learn a little more about who is Walker Langley.
Thank you so much, Pastor. And for all you youngsters watching this, always make sure drive safely. Don't text and drive. Don't drink and drive. No. Put the phone down. Put the phone down. Trust me, it's for the best.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Pastor Chris. It was an honor to be back home in God's house, and thank you so much for the amazing questions.
Oh, thank you for the conversation, and thank you for watching. I know you enjoyed getting to know Walker better. Please check us out next time on the Shepherd Podcast as we continue to introduce you to some great people here at Shepherd of the Hills. Until next time, like Walker said, drive safely, and may the Lord keep you safe in every way and grant you good health and great joy. We'll see you next time. The peace of the Lord be with you today.